just enjoying the weather outside today a bit. Nice to get off the desk and soak in some sun when there is some. And yeah, every time I go for a run, it's very much I'm in my head a lot, thinking, reflecting, like, what am I doing? Am I going in the right direction? Am I doing the right things to progress my business? And I think running a business can be very overwhelming, and well, that's for sure. But I think one thing that might be a bit underrated, it's just staying in the game, like just keep playing. Even though it might feel a bit hopeless, you might not feel like progress. Just by keep doing it, just don't stop doing it. At some point, it's very unlikely that you will not figure something out and you will not grow. So as humans, it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day, and I can for sure relate to this. Getting lost in the day-to-day progress and getting overwhelmed by the to-do list that I write down every morning and seeing all the things I have to do, and then you do them and you're not happy with the quality and you feel like you're not progressing fast enough. But I do think if you just... The reason why I reflect about this is because, like, I kind of always feel like that. Since I started, it's always been like a feeling of the progress being too slow. But if I look back, 2 or 3 years and zoom out a bit, then I really see the progress, and it's very obvious to me. And I think that's a great lesson, because getting lost in the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month progress, it can be very it can definitely slow you down and make you overthink. And the biggest risk or the biggest problem is if you stop totally, if you just stop working towards your goals, because then there's for sure not going to be any progress. So this is a note to self, but maybe it's going to be valuable for maybe even my future self or somebody else. Just don't quit. Stick with it. If you know it's the thing you want to do, if you have committed to it, don't worry, enjoy it. It's gonna take a very, very long time. And just don't quit. Just get a bit better every day, and at some point it's gonna be very unreasonable that you haven't gotten to the point you wanted to get to. And yes, when you get further into the game and you progress and you make more money or you get more views or whatever it is, you're gonna raise your standard. And that's for sure something that happened to me. Like, the month I saw that I had reached the first goal that I set for myself, I didn't even hesitate, but I was already aiming for the next goal immediately. I didn't celebrate, nothing. I was just, okay, what's next? And I think that's, to some extent, it's good, but don't be a victim of the irrational emotional feelings and emotions that come up on a day-to-day basis. Because at the end of the day, we're still just animals. We're not robots, and a lot of the emotions we have, they're not rational at all. So just remember that. Zoom out and look at your progress from a broader, wider view. And when you see it that way, it's pretty obvious that if you just keep going, at some point you're gonna win. So I think that's one of the beautiful things about business or life or anything like this, is that some games you play and they have an end date. They stop, like a basketball game. It has 40 minutes, 48 minutes of playtime. and then it's over. You either lost or you won. But in business, if you just keep playing, there's no really anyone defining when you won or when you lost. The only time you really lose is when you totally stop playing at all. Like you stop trying. That's when you lost. And it's good to also be aware about how few humans can stay with something for a long time. You can stick with a niche, you can stick with a business model, and not hop from one thing to the next. It's very hard to not get better at it. And after 5-10 years, you're gonna leave most of the competition behind. So yeah, just note to self, but maybe it's gonna be helpful for someone else. And yeah, I'm gonna get back, have some dinner, and then when the sun is going down, I'm gonna film some YouTube videos for my other business channel and keep growing that. So yeah, it's ups and downs, but that's how it is. And just make sure you don't get too glued to the desk. Get outside and reflect, and don't overcomplicate things. That's something I have to tell myself right now. Don't overcomplicate it. Just stick with it, and you're gonna get closer to the goal. Just do what's right. Do what you know you have to do, and keep learning, and you will get there. There's basically the only way it's gonna go. If you just keep learning and keep growing and keep trying, might take longer than you want to, but that's how it is. It's beautiful.